Hey guys, this is Ray the Messenger, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you about what you should do when you're afraid to take risks. Now let's get right into the video. The first thing I'm going to tell you inside of this video is a little story of mine, how I faced the fear of taking risks in my own life. So basically back in the day, a couple of years ago, I was studying inside of a university. I was studying a subject that I was kind of interested in, but then after studying a couple of months, I realized, oh my god, this is not actually getting me there where I want to be in life. Because I had a certain plan that I wanted to go to, and in the end of the day, university will not get me there. So I had to think of ways, how can I get out of there? That's what I was thinking. But I was afraid to take risks. I was afraid to go out there and start working on my own business and dropping out of school, maybe, for example. I was too afraid to do that. In the end of the day, after like 2 years or something, or 3 years, like way longer than it actually had to be, I was there and I quit, right? So I took the risk in the end of the day. And what you have to realize is, by waiting to take the risk or never actually taking the risk, let's make a little mental experiment, right? Let's take the story that I just told you, go back in time and put myself into the same situation, but now I will not drop out and I will just stay inside of university and never take the risks. If you actually play that story out, it will end in a certain way. You can think about it. It's not something illogical, it's something pretty predictable where you will end up in the end of the day. So if you're a certain path if you're on a certain path right now in life, then you will know where the path will lead you. If you go to university, let's say you're studying a subject, let's say you're studying law, then most likely you're going to become a lawyer. There aren't too many possibilities that you have if you go down a certain path, because a certain path will lead you to a certain end destination. Of course, some paths can open up many doors, but most of the time, if you look at the people who are studying law, a lot of them are just going to go and become a lawyer. So what you have to think is, when you're doing these kind of things and you're not taking the risks, there's always an opportunity cost. So you have to think about, what is the opportunity cost for me not taking the risk? Because that's also a decision you have to make. When you're not taking the risk for a long amount of time, you lose multiple valuable years that you could have invested into actually achieving the thing that you truly want to achieve, instead of wasting your time on a path where you know that the end result is not going to be the end result that you truly deeply desire. So ask yourself one important thing. If you're on a certain path right now, let's say, let it be a workplace, right? You're working at a certain place, or let's say you're studying a certain subject in university, whatever that you're doing right now. Ask yourself, if I continue doing this for the next years, where in the end of the day will this most likely get me? So I'll give you a concrete example. Let's say you're a teacher, right, working inside of a school. So you're basically going to get the same money every single year for the rest of your life. There will only be a little bit of differences, but you cannot go as a teacher. Think about it logically, right? You cannot go as a teacher from making like 30 to go up there and making 100. That's almost impossible. No teacher makes that money. Not even university professors. A lot of them don't even make that money. So you have to think, am I actually doing the right thing that wants to get me to a certain place? If the answer is no, then you need to think about, why shouldn't I take the risks? Because the other risk, by not taking the thing that you truly want to do, the quote-unquote risky thing, in actuality the risk is staying on the path you are right now, because it will risk making you unhappy in life and sending you down a dark path. Because at a certain point, it's extremely difficult to turn back. So if you're down, I'll give you another example to demonstrate this, because examples make this easier. Let's say you're going down inside of woods, right? You're running through the woods, and at a certain point you cannot turn back because you don't know the way back. That's the most difficult part. You have to realize, when is it too late to start again, and it will get more and more difficult. And I think personally, it's never too late actually to change your own life, but it's exponentially more difficult. Why would you put yourself in a difficult situation, an exponentially more difficult situation, where you maybe have the responsibilities, right? Maybe you have kids and stuff like that, and now you can't be like, as a teacher, you now have children that you have to feed. You cannot all of a sudden be like, you know what, fuck being a teacher, I'm starting my own business. Yeah, good luck with that one. And then maybe the first couple of years you will fail, because most of the time in the beginning it's always failure, the first couple of years, and then you're just wasting time. But now what is your family going to do, right? So you're in a difficult situation. So you should think about the consequences. Every action has consequences, and when you calculate the risks, in the end of the day, if you think about it, if I could give you like a signing where it would tell you that, if you do this, you will 100% succeed. So if you take the risk that you're afraid of taking, you will 100% succeed. And if I would give you a guarantee that you're going to make it, you would 100% do the thing. So why not just do it right now? What is holding you back? This is the question you have to ask yourself. And most of the time, what was back for me in back of the day were multiple factors holding me back. Once, of course, the fear of failure. What is it if I fail, right? If I start the thing that I wanted to start and I actually fail and achieve nothing, then you have to think, okay, what is the worst consequence consequence. Yeah, you're going to be at square zero again. But right now, you're basically at square zero already most of the time. Like, I don't think it's, for me personally, it's not a good thing to be in a place where you don't want to be. That's for me is basically square zero. So you're going to go back to some random ass job. So who cares? Why not just take the risk? In that case, for example, with university. But there are many examples in life where you can actually apply this thing. Why not just go and sign up to the boxing gym? What are you afraid of? Afraid of getting punched in the face a little bit? You should actually think about the consequences that are going to come out of not taking the action. And now think about the upside. That's always the most important thing when calculating certain things that you want to do or actions that you want to take. You should always calculate what is the upside against the downside. If the downside is something that isn't actually that bad if you think about it in the consequences, but the upside is huge. If the upside is huge, why not just take the risk? That's called gambling. If you're in gambling, like that's called good gambling, by the way. I'm not talking like, don't confuse this with, oh, we're going to the casino and playing with the slot machine, because that's stupid gambling. I'm talking about smart gambling, actually calculated gambling. It's like poker players. They take calculated risks, but there will always be a little bit of chance. This is also the thing that you have to remember. There will always be a part of chance that things are not going to play out the way that you think about in your mind. But even if you calculate that little chance that things are going to go down the drain, if you calculate that risk in, but the upside is huge, then overall that's a decision you should take. I give you a recommendation. Read a book from Ray Dalio called Principles. There he talks deeply about specifically this topic, right? Taking risk and evaluating risks, where you can make a risk and reward ratio calculation inside of your head, and you can see if taking the risk actually makes sense, because the net value of the calculation will be higher. If the upside is huge but the risk is small, that's an action you should definitely take 100%. There is no other way. You should 100% calculate the thing and do it. So for concrete examples, you should go to the boxing gym, because the risk is you will get minimal injuries. Okay, maybe in the long term, if you do that shit for 12 years and getting punched in the head every single day, yeah, you will probably have some head trauma. I'm not going to deny that one. But if you go there for a couple of years and get those skills in, the confidence you will gain and the skills actually to defend yourself, they far outweigh the risk of getting small injuries in the short term. That's an action you should basically take, in my opinion, personal opinion, because in the end of the day, even if I give you these calculations, those are my own personal calculations, because I cannot put a value for what is your inside of your life, what the self-confidence means, because for every person the weight is different. So for one person the weight of confidence is huge, which it actually should be, but for another person they don't really care about that stuff or defending themselves, because they've never been in a situation where they had to defend themselves, so they don't have the awareness of that kind of stuff. So it's not in a high value for them. So think about what is in high value for you, and then start calculating the risk. And in the end of the day, if the calculation tells you, hey, this is a risk I should take because the rewards are huge, then in the end of the day, you need to take the balls that you have and start doing the things that need to be done. This is it. I cannot give you like a certain thing, oh yeah, if you do this thing, then you will be a risk taker, because taking risk is a habit that you need to acquire, but you need to start acting in calculated risks. So calculate the risk. If the benefits outweigh the risk, 100% take it. That's what I do in my own life. And yeah, I'm like, it depends. What do you want to achieve? If you just want to stay there and be the same person, then don't take any risks, never in your life. Then you will be the same basically wherever you are. So I hope this video is helpful for you. What I can say is start taking calculated risks. I'm not saying just start taking risks, but start taking calculated risks. Big difference. Subscribe to my channel, like this video if you liked it, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.